Do you want to come to my house, deep divers? A lot of you are probably thinking, I wonder what Ralph Smart's house is like. What is it like inside there? Well, deep divers, if you ask anybody who's come to my house, they'll tell you this. My doormat says, leave your shoes and ego outside. That's right. So if you come to my house, there are no egos whatsoever. That's right. Peace, infinite waters, diving deep once again. Beautiful deep divers. We are out here in Jurassic Park. Another gorgeous day in the heart of nature. We got birds everywhere making love up there. Oh my gosh. We're just, breathing in that good ass prana, baby. And I'm sending you tons of love, deep divers. Take that, take that. Take that. Now, deep divers, is your ego controlling you? Is your ego creeping into your relationship? And you're like, oh my gosh, how can I keep my ego in check? Stop feeding your ego and need for control, and instead do this, deep divers. You will meet so much more people. Trust me, I'm a doctor. I got a question that came in. Someone's like, Ralph, I'm in a relationship, but my ego always gets the best of me. Like, how can I stop feeding my ego and really move back into my heart space? Deep divers, we are about to do that. This is sexology. Water, fire, hot, cold, yin, yang. Daddy's home, I'm back. We ain't even had breakfast yet. Can I get a hello there? So wonderful deep divers, let me share with you what's helped me along my journey to stop feeding my ego and need for control and really move back into my heart space. And that's why I've attracted some phenomenal people and wonderful beings, including the cat down the road over there. Hi, cat down the road. Now, the ego, your ego, is a 3-letter word that can destroy a 12-letter word called relationship. What? Slow motion this side. Now, to a lot of people in this matrix, the ego gives them a false sense of power. It's very alluring. It makes us feel like we're in control of everybody around us. But when you are in your ego, in a relationship, it will literally push both of you further apart from each other. And that's why a lot of relationships actually end in utter disaster because of the ego. So right now, deep divers, it is all about moving back into your heart space. That's what I'm practicing every single day. Ralph, be in the heart space, okay? Stop feeding your ego and need for control, and instead do this. You will meet more people. Realize this today, deep divers. Your ego is not your amigo. Your ego is not your friend. Even though it makes you feel so powerful, where the ego is, the heart cannot exist. What? Slow motion this side. And a relationship, for it to work, for it to blossom, for it to bloom, it has to be heart-centered, not ego-centered. So you have to learn how to surrender to your heart space, how to be more sensitive. And what has really helped me to move into my heart space, deep divers, is to realize that I'm not an ego. I am not this ego. I'm not this person. you have been identifying with this person in society. And that's why a lot of people, they spend their whole day wearing a mask at work, at college, wherever they are. Then they come home and they still have that mask on, which is the ego. But it's a persona. It's not actually who you really are. So you have to allow that mask to fall off and allow yourself to be vulnerable with someone special, because vulnerability is strength, not ego. Oh, baby. The ego is very defensive, very defensive. The ego never wants to lose. It always wants to be in control. But deep divers, when you let go of control, you have control. How to stop feeding your ego and move into your heart space. Deep divers, you will meet more people. Realize this today. You don't own anybody. No, you don't own the cat down the road. You don't own that person you're with in a relationship. You don't own them. He's mine. Deep divers, ever seen those memes, right, on Instagram? Mine, okay? And now they're not actually memes. They're not memes. They're actually selfies. People saying mine at the caption, right? No, you don't own anybody. You are only experiencing them. What? Slow motion this side. You can't buy someone like you can buy a car. You cannot buy another human being like you can buy a car. You don't own them. So the ego wants us to own everything we come into contact with. And that's why a lot of relationships break down. And you have to let go of this desire to own somebody. You have to let go of this desire to set another person, a grown person. I'm a grown man, Ralph. I'm a grown woman. I know, right? And they're setting a curfew for you, like you gotta be in by 9? Like who the hell do they think they are, right? So realize that you don't own anybody, and you move into your heart space when you realize that they are actually choosing to be with you. Therefore, you have to honor them. Therefore, you have to appreciate them. Therefore, you have to realize it's a gift that they are even sharing their life with you. Deep divers, stop feeding your ego and your need for control, and instead do this to really move back into the heart space so you can meet beautiful deep divers. Realize this today. The ego is one of the biggest turnoffs. Ever seen somebody who's just in their ego 24/7? Don't you just want to run away from them? I do. So does the cat down the road. So if you can realize that although we like to think that our ego is protecting us, no, your ego is actually hurting your relationship. Your ego is actually hurting your friendships. So to really move into the heart space, realize this today, that the biggest turn on and how to make yourself even more attractive is to have some heart. But Ralph, I don't want people to think that I'm a weakling. No, deep divers, if you are in your heart space, it shows that you care. It shows that you have compassion. It shows that you have feelings. It shows that you are a human being. You have emotions. You're sensitive. And this is so attractive. It shows that you are authentic. The ego, and this is why a lot of relationships break down. When two people are in their egos, or just one person, a lot of people, they get so consumed and so self-absorbed with themselves that they actually don't allow anybody into their space. It's now just about them. And to really move into your heart space, you have to realize that your ego will only make enough space just for you. Nobody else can eat at the table. So eventually you will have a lot less friends, a lot less potentially great relationships will come your way. So you have to realize that the ego is a trick. And the way to get out of the trick is to move into your heart space, to say, actually, no. Ego, get in the back seat. Always put the heart in the driving seat, because your heart will guide you to better places than your ego ever will. What? Slow motion this side. Deep divers, stop feeding your ego and need for control, and instead do this, you will meet more people. The ego, when you realize this, deep divers, your ego can give you illusions of grandeur. You can think that you're actually bigger than you actually are. Right? I've been in my ego back in the day, deep divers, and I'm like, no. The ego had me tripping. It had me thinking like it was just all about me. And that's why a lot of people become delusional in relationships. That's why they start using gaslighting, which is a form of manipulation. And they're like, hey, it's all in your head, to another person. Because as far as they are concerned, they are right and everybody else is wrong. So to move into your heart space, you have to realize that how you see this relationship is not the only way this relationship is, because another person sees it a different way. So that's why communication is the foundation of a great relationship. So you move into your heart space when you are willing to see things for what they actually are. When you are willing to see yourself for who you actually are. Because your ego will make you delusional. It will give you illusions of grandeur. And ain't nobody got time for that. Deep divers, how to stop feeding your ego and move into your heart space. Realize this today. When people are in their ego, especially in relationships, ladies, fellas, what happens? It's always one person in the relationship thinking that they are better than the other person. So people place themselves on a pedestal like, hey, you're so lucky to be with me. Don't you know that? No, actually, you're so lucky to be with me. You are so lucky to be with me, right? So what happens is that it's like a tug of war. Stop feeding your ego and need for control and instead do this. You will meet more people. Realize that you aren't better than anybody you are in a relationship with. You are the same. You are uniquely different, yes, but you are the same. You are energy. And therefore, when you can learn how to honor this person, respect this person, see this person at the same level as yourself, your relationship will become more harmonious. Whenever you think that you're doing someone else a favor, that's when the ego creeps in, because now you think everybody just wants you and you don't need anybody. No. To move back into your heart space, realize that actually it's about sharing. The greatest relationships are about reciprocity. They're based on reciprocity, give and take, right? Deep divers, stop feeding your ego and instead do this. You will meet more people. Now, a lot of people think it is all about them. It's all about me, especially in a lot of relationships in this matrix. I've done a whole lot of counseling. I can even talk from personal experience. I've been in relationships where ego was creeping in, and I had to say, wait a minute, move back into the heart space. A relationship is never just about one person. It is about two coming together to realize each other's worth. What? Slow motion this side. Oh, baby. So, It's not just about you. When you realize this, you will now move into the heart space and your relationship will become more serene, more beautiful. It's about both of you. A lot of people who are in their ego, when it comes to friendships, when it comes to relationships, they only see their own needs and wants. So therefore, the ego obscures vision. So to move into your heart space, you have to start to realize that it's not just about your needs and wants in this relationship. In this relationship, it's about both of us working together on a common goal. It's about both of us working together to create harmony. It's about both of us working together and honoring each other's unique needs. That's how to have the better relationship and move back into your heart space. So, if you are someone who's walking around with, hey, it's all about my needs and my wants, that's why your relationship is in turmoil. You have to start taking a look at the other person's needs and wants and realize they are just as valid as your own. Deep Divers 7-day vegan challenge. Stop feeding your ego and need for control and instead do this. You will meet more people. Now, shout out to everybody who's been eating a whole load of apricots. Shout out to everybody who's been waking up with a whole bunch of grapes in their mouth. Now, check out my new food video, What I Eat in a Day, 7-day vegan challenge after this video. When it comes to relationships and the ego is involved, I liken it to somebody just sitting on the table and eating by themselves when other people are in the house. So we have to realize that like food is meant to be shared, like it is so amazing when you eat with someone you love, now you are in the heart space, as opposed to just eating by yourself when you can eat with someone else, right? So really, to move back into your heart space, just experiment with really going out for a meal with someone you love and just talking, appreciating them, having fun. This is how you move back into your heart space, not just sitting at the table for one by yourself and stuffing your face full of all of those grapes. Deep Divers, how to stop feeding your ego and move back into your heart space. Learn how to surrender. Perspective. When it comes to relationships, we all have to realize that we need a higher perspective. We need the bird's eye view to see from each other's perspective. Many times, the reason why a lot of relationships crumble, break down, is because people can only see it how they want to see it. They can't see it how the other person is seeing it. Therefore, you have to realize that it is all about you surrendering to the other person. And this is going to make you feel extremely naked, but in turn, it will move you back into the heart space. Realize that if you think, because your ego, it feels like it's defending you, it's protecting you, no, it's actually creating more distance between you and the other person you so-called love. Only the heart can end the separation. The ego creates separation. The heart ends it. What? Slow motion this side. So we have to find out ways to move into our heart space. And here's how I do it, Deep Divers. Instead of highlighting what is not working with someone in a relationship, in a friendship, start finding just one thing that is working. So compliment someone. Say, oh my gosh, I love your smile. I love your laugh. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for doing that. That's how you move into the heart space. Because the ego, and what keeps so many people in the ego, is just highlighting people's flaws and overlooking their perfect imperfections. We all have flaws, deep divers, but it's about learning to love our flaws and love someone else's flaws. And this moves us back into the heart space. You can learn a thing or two, deep divers. You can learn a thing or two. You can learn a thing or two or three or four or five, right? The ego thinks that you can't learn anything from anybody. The heart space knows that it can always learn from someone else. It doesn't know everything. So to move back into your heart space, if you're in a relationship with someone, say, actually, I'm here to learn from you. And you're here to learn from me. And we can learn together. We can grow together. And have wonderful babies and dance off into the sunset. Isn't that beautiful, deep divers? Oh, yes, it is. That's how to move back into your heart space. Never be too big for your boots. Learn how to apologize. Apologizing doesn't mean you're weak. It just means that you value this relationship more than your ego. So there you have it, deep divers. That's how to stop feeding your ego a need for control and really move back into your heart space so you can meet even more wonderful people. And then just say, feels so good to be alive, baby. Can I get a hello? Beautiful, deep divers. We're just, woo, breathing in that good ass prana, baby, with the beautiful lovebirds all around us. Shout out to everybody who's been getting the terrific, wonderful good ass prana shirts at ralphsmart.com/clothes. Stay fresh. If you've got a question for me, deep divers, add me on Instagram right now at Infinite Waters. And the model search is still on, deep divers. If you think you've got what it takes, if you are a sexy ass model, woo, with a lot of heart, add me on Instagram at Infinite Waters. And if this video resonated with you today, deep divers, check out the new book for more information like this. Feel Alive by Ralph Smart on Amazon. Deep divers, your ego is not your amigo. Have a beautiful day. Peace. Infinite Waters, diving deep once again. Stay well, stay healthy. Peace. You! My gosh, they're still making love. Those lovebirds, deep divers, are still making love up there. Oh my gosh. Have a beautiful day. Peace.